Undead at the Rickshaw Theatre in Vancouver. So, for the sake of upcoming bands, if you have advice for them, what was the defining moment that made like your career, that actually changed the game for you, basically? Like, was it a connection? And if so, who was it?
It wasn't a connection. I think we just wrote music that people liked, and I say the same thing to everybody. As kids ask all the time, like, what's your advice? You know, I'm a musician, I'm up and coming, just write music that people like. If you write good music, I mean, there are a lot of good musicians out there that don't get the time of day that they deserve, but it's really just like a lot of people just write crappy music. Hey, check out my band, and it sucks. So I'm like, that's why nobody likes it.
And then if you're somebody shifting through bands, Jay, have you ever done that? You run into tons of crappy bands and you just get sick of it, right?
Yeah, pretty much. That's how I feel about my band right now.
Okay, Hollywood Undead. When you actually are dead, what song is going to be your requiem?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Like, which one are you going to be so proud of that you think of on your deathbed when you stay dead?
Like any song or one of our songs?
Your song.
Oh, no, I don't care. I thought you meant like what song they play at my funeral.
Any
Black Sabbath.
Fuck yeah.
I guess Rain off our newest record seems fitting now.
Yeah, Rain. Right on. All right, let's talk to like ideologies. If you could solve one global issue like hunger or poverty, which kind of ties into the same thing, what would it be? What would it
be? You'd have to go global warming.
Global
that's
warming?
That scares me
Hey, that's good.
Because I've thought about that so many times, especially growing up. I was like, if I could, cure all crime or all pollution, what would you choose?
Yeah,
probably pollution.
We probably only got like 50 years of like fresh water left. I think we're fucked.
If you could unleash a global issue on the world and destroy it, what would it be? I'd destroy the world with illiteracy.
I think
that's already happening.
You're doing a good job, dude.
Primary school education, I'm evil.
You're doing a great job.
For upcoming bands, once again, because a lot of people are looking at you guys and wondering what you did, what would you invest in first? If you had to make a choice, a great live performance or a top-notch album? What do you think would end up being more important to invest your time and resources?
You can't really choose between the two. You gotta do both. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, you can't really be like, oh, I'm gonna spend all this money on recording and have a great album and sound like shit live, and you just kick yourself in the ass, vice versa. So you have to do both. But nowadays with the technology, it's like it's easy to learn how to record by yourself and make shit sound good. It's just time consuming, and so it's like it's really not that hard nowadays. I just think a lot of people, and I hate to put everyone down like this, a lot of people just aren't good songwriters. So if everybody was, then every band would be signed and everybody would be touring. What sucks about music nowadays is it's not like it used to be when him and I, were listening to bands. Like you buy a magazine, that's how you find out about the band. You go to the fucking show. Besides that, like it's word of mouth, it's flyers, it's this. It's like now this day and age, like you have to be somewhat of a reality star to gain more fans. Like if you don't post what you had for breakfast, then people are going to get mad at you and they're going to start to pay attention to someone else who does post what they had for breakfast. So there's people nowadays who are like celebrities who are just reality stars that are in bands, but like when they go and play a show, they might have 1 million followers on Twitter. They play a show, 30 kids show up. So it doesn't always translate that way.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Give or take. Win some, lose some. What was it like without a manager? When you were at the beginning of your career?
I was born with a manager.
We have 4 managers in our band.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Was like distributing duties okay? Like it was
honestly,
easy to figure it out?
This actually goes back to the very first question you asked about when we were in our first band and stuff, and no one had any interest. You actually reach a point, I think we all do, where you give up. You either give up or you keep going. And I remember our first band, and the guitarist and the drummer left, and it was just me and him. And it was kind of that moment where you either decide to keep going and dealing with the shit more or you don't. And that's when I think most bands drift off. So a manager is good because they're going to make you keep going and keep. So when it's all up to you, it's all about whether you have the heart to take all the letdowns and all the things that come with being in a band. A management is just a symptom of some kind of success, because the only reason a manager will ever be interested is if you're generating money for him.
Yeah, as if you busted your ass enough that he can take over.
It's the truth.
Who was it that really took it upon themselves to push at this point in time, do you think?
Management-wise?
Beforehand.
It was me and him.
Individuals.
When we our first band, the other guys left, and it was kind of that point. And then we recruited Charlie to play guitar in the first band, and got a new drummer and kept moving. But it was that moment like where we would save all our money doing whatever we could do to have a rehearsal space, and begging our friends to go to shows and shit like that. It's not something I look fondly on.
There's some kind of misconception where people are just like, yeah, Hollywood Undead like blew up overnight and had a silver spoon. Like that's not. Like we did the same shit every band did. We fucking sold tickets to play. You know, fucking begged all our friends to go to shows. Like we did all that stuff. So it's like people think we got everything easy. Like it wasn't that way at all. So
there's a lot of trial and error in other bands and stuff like that. You know.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a lot of people don't know about bands that have had any form of success, even some success.
If you've heard a band on the radio, they've been around. That band Fun that had that biggest single last year, they were around for 10 years before they had that song, so everybody's like, oh, Fun, these guys came out of nowhere. The dude who was at the Grammys is like, out of nowhere, you know, we've been around 10 years doing all this stuff before we ever got a single. So, I mean, it doesn't occur to you that they've been around just because you didn't hear of them. By the time you hear of them, there's been all the blood, sweat, and tears that got into that position, so you heard them.
Hell yeah. How long did it take you guys, do you think? You're talking 10 years for that band. How long was it before you
For Hollywood Undead itself, it was really quick. I mean, in that sense, we were very fortunate that came quick, but all the bands before, you know, we got...
It all led up to it, you know, like learning how to write songs in these other bands, and I listen to some of our old music, and it's so bad. And then, you know, that's how you learn to write good songs, is it, you know, all of that process. So Hollywood Undead got signed relatively quickly, but we'd already figured out what to do, I guess, through the trial and error of other groups.
Yeah, because each of you individually had your own experiences that you kind of pooled together.
Yeah.
And your own connections and stuff like
kind
that.
Kind of like one big gangbang.
Okay, which member of Hollywood Undead lost his virginity to a hooker? It's a very assumptive question, but I know one of you did.
That's not true.
No?
I only know one guy in the band who got a blowjob from a hooker once, and I won't say who it is.
Yeah, there's one...
What was the story, though? Is there a crazy story behind it?
Yeah.
Did you catch him?
It was their 18th birthday.
It was their 18th birthday.
Sunset Trip in West Hollywood.
This guy we know, Justin, took him out for his birthday saying, hey, I'm going to take you to get a blowjob, it's your 18th birthday. And the other guy goes to hookers all the time, so the guy gets the blowjob, and the guy doesn't have money for it and has to borrow money from the guy who received the blowjob for his birthday to pay for the blowjob. So it's basically, he paid for his own blowjob.
That's a great birthday gift.
Not really.
You guys have played with like the Deftones, the Stone Temple Pilots and stuff. Who's probably the coolest person that you performed with?
The coolest person.
I really performed with like more partied with backstage.
Oh,
I really like the guys from Avenge. Those are some of my personal favorites to party with.
Yeah,
Avenge
dudes.
Band called 10 Years, which is very strange because you know not too many people are familiar with them, but 10 Years and those guys party like just as hard as we do. Like they're the ones who make us raise the bar when it comes to partying.
Okay, you're totally sponsored by the Illuminati, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I worship. What's the sign?
I knew I saw the signs on that one. You got the 666.
I got this weird fascination. I watch all those videos on YouTube about the Illuminati. They're like an hour long. I watch all of them.
They're great.
It's just so absurd that someone thinks like that you have to, you know, that you sold your soul to the devil to be successful. Because if that was the case, I would sell a lot more of my soul. It's like so far, it's not doing that good. Just for our band to enter this country costs like $10,000 or $12,000 or something. Like,
holy fuck.
We have 3 felons, so every time we come over, me, him, and another guy have to pay like $6,000 each. Or
5 people out of the band have to pay money, and then 3 of them are felons. So it's like, yeah, it's not easy for us to come to Canada. It's not cheap either.
Is that why nobody comes to Canada? Like a lot of people don't even come to Vancouver.
Dude, it's so hard to get just even cross that border.
Dude, they don't make it easy for you to come here, so it's not like something. I mean, sitting there and them threatening to put their fingers in your ass to find the coke doesn't make you want to go. I want to go back there. And the funny thing is, it's easier to get coke here than most places in the United States. Why the hell would I bring a gram of coke to Vancouver where I can walk down a corner and get it?
What's the name of that corner right there?
Main and Hastings. Main and Hastings are claim to fame. Apparently, if you drive down the alleyways, it's like the Night of the Living Dead, and they're scurrying out of the way.
Oh, dude, you know, it's funny because I woke up late and everybody was already gone. I walked off. I was like, oh, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go look for something to eat. I walked out. I was like, I'm going back on the bus. I'm not walking around here by myself.
All right. Do you have anything you want to say? Any message you want to give out?
Check out our record, Notes from the Underground. It just came out. January came out. It was the #1 record in Canada that week, so if you haven't heard it, please check it out.
Yeah, and we're very happy. I mean, we're stoked to be. This is our first time in Vancouver.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah? I've got a good question about the album, actually. A lot of people are moving to vinyl. And a lot of people, like more indie bands, are doing cassettes and stuff like that. What do you rely on more, physical copies or digital?
Well, everybody sells more digital copies. There's nothing you could do about it. From my standpoint, I don't understand why someone would buy a record and not get the physical record, because when I was a kid, one of my favorite things to do when I got a new record was to read the artwork and the thank yous and, you know, the whole deal. It was much, you got almost a personal experience with the band and stuff and what songs were about, and just buying something and you get a digital CD. I mean, I get why they do it, but I would always prefer a real hard copy, you know what I mean?
You get the package, the artwork.
Just the attachment's not there anymore, because you can get a digital booklet that you get, but I have a box full of fucking CDs that I, you know, used to work as a kid growing up to buy, and I can't bring myself to getting rid of them. They're just sitting in my garage, and like they're all on my iTunes, but I think in this day and age, kids don't have that same attachment.
Yeah, I mean, but they don't know. You should just go out and buy CDs and stuff like that. We're big supporters of Record Store Day in the States too, like independent stores. Because I mean, when I was a kid, they were everywhere, and now I know of like 3 in all of LA. They don't exist anymore, so all the moms and pops places are closing down. It's kind of sad. I mean, the way music
like
is
going to
listened
Walmart.
to. Yeah, Walmart, Target, Best Buy.
Do you think they're sound advertisements now? The biggest bands, the biggest groups?
The guys at Target hate us for some reason. They're always like putting our CDs in the back of shit. So every
Just
time I go
there
to Target by
and
my house, I stick it where it belongs.
right in the front.
Yeah, and then I shoplift.
Street, through the gutters of you, just cry, motherfucker.